if it feels like farm machinery prices have gone up and they haven't came down any, well, that's exactly what some of the data shows. So this is a look at the annual change in farm machinery prices across the entire United States, going back to the late 1960s. You can see we've had two periods of some really high inflation for farm machinery. Of course, not surprising to a lot of folks in the early 1970s. We had high inflation throughout the farm economy, throughout the economy broadly, but also some strong profitability in the early 1970s for the farm economy. That sent farm machinery prices up for several years in a row. Big era of farm machinery inflation. We had another blip of inflation in the mid 2000s, in the mid between 2024 and 2010. Of course, this is when we had a lot of corn being used for ethanol and some soybeans going to China. And now look at where we are here today. You see, we had a couple of years of more than 10% annual changes in farm machinery prices. This has gotten back to normal, but normal is still above 0%. So we haven't seen these prices come down and likely won't. One of the things I also want to point out is if you were to buy $1,000 worth of farm machinery back in 2000, that farm machinery would cost you today around 1,800. That's the accumulation of all these annual increases. But the point that really is challenging for producers is about half of that inflation, almost 60% of that inflation actually has occurred in just the last handful of years, over the last 4 or 5 years. And so inflation is never sort of this linear, steadily predictable thing. There are periods that have some steady predictability to them, but it's these outliers, these few handful of years throughout history that really cause a lot of pain in a short amount of time for producers. I'm David with Agricultural Economic Insights. This is the chart of the week. If you like it, be sure to follow us. You can read the full article and the link in the description. In the meantime, stay curious.